So this is not what it seems to be. This message is not what it seems to be. Because this is not understood. There's no understanding of this. There is no real relation to things. No real cause and effect. This is just what is. And the apparent relation to things was completely illusory. That too was never really real, never really what it seemed to be. It seemed to have some kind of importance here. There really did seem to be a relationship with things and others and experiences, relationships with ideas, with purpose and meaning. And there was this me at the center of it all. So yeah, this relation really did create this appearance that there are separate things, everything is separate. And so it really made it feel as though there was this dividing factor. There was this space in between things and here, this me that resides in a body. And so the story always played out in relation to this appearance, these appearance of things. Most particularly in relationships with others, or friendships, or relationships. So yeah, I mean, this was a relationship with another. It seemed to be, yeah, I mean, funny enough, like this relationship itself is a relation to another. So there's always this comparing. How do I compare to this person? How do I actually relate to this person? Am I superior to this person? Am I smarter than this person? You know, all these stories, they are, just an energetic thing. It's not really happening, but it really seems to be a play of this realness or sense of importance. And it's this feeling, this relation, this division, this separation that is dreamed. There's this separation, this relation to things. It is the dream. It is a dream that there are others, and then there is always a comparing to others in relation to what is believed to be here as a me, as a separate individual. So without that relation, it's just empty of all relation to things. There is no actual relation. Like that is just a dream. So the story of two was a dream. Story of duality was a dream. Story of separation was a dream. So when there is no real relation to things, when the story is illuminated for what it is, just a story, there's only beingness. There's only just this wonder, this unknowability. Yeah, and this story, I mean, of this relation story seemed to really develop when I was a young child, and you know, it's not remembered, you know, at what point this story began, but you know, I can imagine that, you know, it began with, you know, the possession of things, you know, like, you know, when there was, you know, there was most likely a point here where there was no relation story. And so, like, yeah, the expression, this childlike wonder, you know, it kind of paints the picture of what's being expressed here. You know, but so many people kind of misinterpret what is being suggested by this childlike wonder. So, like, I don't like to use that. You know, it kind of implies that this is always like blissful and cheery and happy and playful and you know, I'm like a kid and I'm all giddy all the time. No, like that's just not really the case. But you know, it's not much different really. Like it's not much different in the, you know, in the way that when a child, you know, is first developing, then there's no relation to anything. There's no real story. It's all just a wonder. Like it's just, yeah, and they begin to ask like your parents, like, what is this? Like, what is this? What is that? You know, parents tend to be like, oh, well, that is a dog. You know, and then this idea of in a story, oh, okay, this is a dog. And then what might happen is the parent might imply, that's your dog. And, oh, my dog? What? Like a child, like they like, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but like a child can't grasp the concept of mine until it's really embedded into them. Like and so like this relation is created. So before there was just this childlike wonder, this just being, it's just this is aliveness, it's this childlike wonder, and now there's all of a sudden a me introduced into the picture. This is so there's separation here. Oh, Well, I was the child was probably most likely just content with that being nothing, just enjoying it for what it is, and not knowing what it is. Like it's and that joy is taken away from the child. So yeah, nothing was ever yours. Your parents lied to you. Yeah, and there was no one there. There was no one there to possess something. You inhabited this freedom as a child. So yeah, I mean, when I say that this is a dream, it's not like an actual dream, like a dream in sleep. Although, in a sleeping dream, you rarely are aware that you are dreaming, that you are asleep, and dreams do feel very real, when in your sleep. So in that way, the story of separation is it being a dream. It can feel real, just like a sleeping dream. But it's, when I say this is a dream, I'm not implying that this is some sort of simulation, or that this is, or that we're actually asleep and we're just dreaming this, and that, no, like, I mean, there's some substance to this. Like there is, there's pain and, discomfort and, all kinds of things like that you don't really experience within a dream, a sleeping dream. So yeah, I mean, when you're dreaming, it feels real, but it's not what it seems to be, right? It seems to be real. But in a different way, this too is very similar. This life. So yeah, I mean, any interpretations put onto this is a story of relation. Any labeling of this, any sense of importance given to one thing over another, uh, when it comes to like a particular outcome, maybe. That story, that relation is always a story of division, of separation, of how it relates to here, to this thing, this me, that this thing that I call me. that I believe to be me. And so, I mean, just like a dream and sleep, like it never sustains. Like you wake up. Eventually you wake up and yeah, ironically enough, like a lot of times when you're sleeping in a dream, or let's say it's a nightmare and you're frightened, it jolts you. Like you wake up in the dream, like when it gets really intense. And similarly, that's kind of how it happened here in the waking dream. Yeah, so like I think there was the story that was being told in this relation to everything. It became it wasn't sustainable. Like it did, uh, kind of jolted me to wake up. I guess like similar to like how you would wake up in a dream, a sleeping dream. So yeah, like, I guess like there is this more of this lucidity because there is no there. There is no things. There are no separate things. That was just a story. That was just a dream. Yeah. And and that too is not what it seems. And so when there is still this story of a relation playing out, when this message is heard, the tendency is always there's always there's just this habit already installed of this always needing to relate to how this relates to me. So when this message is heard, a lot of times what seems to happen is that people automatically start to begin to imagine how this relates to them, how this can get them to something else. Because what is just what's here, what's happening now is not it. Like that is, and that this me needs to go somewhere. It needs to have something other than just what is. It needs to be fulfilled in some way. And so there's just this neediness that comes along with it, and it really does need these things in order to sustain the dream. So oftentimes what happens is like when people lose everything, kind of what's similar to what happened here, like nothing was actually lost, but it seemed as though in the dream everything was lost here. There was that all was hopeless, and that I tried, maintaining the dream was far too difficult. It was almost a giving up. Like there was just a complete surrendering, because there was just you kind of grew tired of it all. Like it takes a lot of energy to sustain this dream, this story, this dream that's not really happening. So that relating to things is just what is. There are no actual things in which to relate to. Not even a me, not even person, an individual. Yeah, when yeah, I mean, you could talk about this all day long, but in the end, really, this is just the most simple, direct message. I mean, but it's just it's not explainable. Like you can't describe this. This is a mystery. This is just life, undivided. When the relationship story goes, that's that seems to be just what's unveiled, what's revealed to no one, because there was no one that was divided. So yeah, there even actually wasn't even a dream. What is a dream? There was no ever real relation or importance to letting go of the dream. It doesn't matter because there's no one there that can really do anything about it. It's just whatever seems to be happening. It's just what is. It too is just this. It's just this perfection. There is no one doing anything. No one in control of a life. Because there is no real life, no separate life in relation to things. That was just always a story, always a dream. And so what's left? Just this. This is it. This is perfection. Just what is. Whatever is happening, whatever seems to be happening in this instant is it. That's all there is. There's no one here in relation to a past. There's no one here in relation to a future. That too is part of the dream. So yeah, I mean, this message is so simple, so direct. And pointing to this absolute nothingness, this is actually nothing. This gives nothing to the story. This gives nothing to the story of separation. This is not a story. It's just unknown.